Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that has affected me quite a bit. Procrastination and decision fatigue. And I want to start with the first one, procrastination. Because although popular opinion, procrastination is not about laziness. It often is a response to being overwhelmed, a response to fear. Procrastination happens when the task triggers negative emotions. This could be self-doubt, fear, uncertainty, and then we tend to avoid them. This is often the real cause of procrastination because we know what we want to do. We might be knowing how to do it, but we tend to put them off. Maybe we wait for somebody else to tell us to do it, or even worse, we wait for the magical, not existing sign from the world to go do something. And these external factors do help, right? I think we all worked with a deadline in the past, right? As soon as the deadline creeps up, that's when we go into action. Because the fear of what happens after the deadline passes is greater than the fear of actually doing the task. So our other fears take over. And what happens is when we avoid these tasks, we get a short-term relief. But they reinforce the cycle. It's a cycle of self-doubt. It's a cycle of those negative emotions. You know, procrastination, it's not about laziness. You are not lazy if you procrastinate. Procrastination happens when the task triggers negative emotions. This could be self-doubt, it could be fear, it can be uncertainty. We tend to avoid them and then it leads to a short-term relief. But in the long term, it reinforces the cycle. Not doing it leads to more self-doubt, leads to more procrastination. Well, you see where we're going. And then the second point, decision fatigue. Because what doesn't happen is while we're so busy trying to achieve and trying to complete our task, is that we're bombarded with an immense amount of decisions to make on a daily basis. What to wear, what to eat, who to hang out with, what career to choose, what sport to do, and even within a day, right? How can you fill up the 24 hours? There are countless ways. And then when you try to relax, you're bombarded with an endless stream of either TikToks or Netflix movies and series. This constant decision making depletes our mental energy. And this then again leads to decision fatigue, which is another reason to procrastinate. We also tend to become more impulsive because we don't have the ability to choose anymore. We've chosen so much that we end up just doing the first thing that comes to mind. And then the question is the first thing always the best thing? I think there's a huge difference between intuition and impulsivity, something we'll get to in another video. But taking the time to make the right decisions, and I know it sounds ironic, choosing what decisions to make, but choosing to make the right decisions will help your life immensely. And this vicious cycle of procrastination and decision fatigue often leads to freezing in your mind that feels like it's better to not do anything than to having to choose again, or in your own mind fail again because you start something, you start to procrastinate and you don't have the mental energy and capacity anymore to make the right decisions, which triggers again those negative emotions, feeding that vicious cycle. And that feeds back to our school system. Within our educational system, you're asked to wait for permission, to wait your turn, to do what's being told. This doesn't train your brain to make the right decisions. It tells you to follow whatever decisions are made. And also, we learn to avoid mistakes. Something that's pivotal for success is making mistakes, but then knowing how to improve and get better the next time. And these lessons, they have their place. It's important to learn them. But they also lead to avoiding making autonomous decisions. And then again, it hinders us in our professional, but also in our private lives. And that again leads to overthinking what is the right decision. Not doing it, feeding back into that cycle of decision making, decision fatigue and procrastination. Because your brain and our system is telling us, wait for the right moment. But the right moment doesn't exist. The right moment is now. If you can take a first step, do it. Walking a step is closer to finishing a marathon than not walking at all. So it's important to understand what needs to be done, but also take that step and improve, build momentum to counteract decision fatigue and procrastinations. There are a few tools you can implement in your life to make your life easier. Limit choices. Reduce the number of decisions you make daily. For instance, streamline your wardrobe or plan your meals in advance. Pick a genre before searching for a movie. This saves your mental energy for decisions that actually matter, that bring you closer to your goals. Create default options. Set predetermined choices for recurring decisions, like having a go-to breakfast or a fixed workout routine. This again frees up mental energy and time because you're making your days more efficient with less clutter and frustration. Establish routines. Develop consistent habits that automate parts of your day. Have a set workout time. Set aside time to work on your side hustle. This makes sure your creative and problem-solving brain can be used on critical tasks that help you reach your goals. Utilize the effort-result ratio. Look at your tasks and determine how good you should do them. Not all your tasks have to be perfect. Sometimes good enough is an excellent effort, while other tasks might require near perfection to be completed. Break the tie and go for a 100% yes. If you can decide, flip a coin. The funny thing is, what I have noticed is that sometimes I'm disappointed with the end result. Which actually means I wanted the other option all along. The things you do should either bring you a 100% yes reaction, or you should say no. If it doesn't 100% excite you, you shouldn't do it. That doesn't mean you should never clean. Because if your goal is to have a happy living environment, cleaning is part of that. And remember, clarity always beats motivation. When you're clear on what needs to be done, it's way more likely that you're gonna take action, even when that initial motivation disappears. And it will always disappear. Motivation is temporary. Motivation is the itch to get started. What gets you there is perseverance. It's actually doing it. It's seeing the momentum build up and the results of your labor. By simplifying your decision making and by having clarity on the goals you actually want to reach, you're gonna set yourself up for success. And it's that consistent progress, like in the last episode, that will make you reach your goals. Action beats overthinking any day of the week. Doing something is always better than not doing anything. So set a clear goal and implement a few of these tactics into your life. Don't do it all at once because that will defeat the purpose and you will not persist with that. Pick a few that resonate most with you. Pick a goal and start working on it. See the momentum go up and I will promise you, you will make steps. You will see the progress. Start by working out for 5 minutes. Don't set the goal of running a marathon right away. What you'll see is running for 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes, becomes 20 minutes. And before you know it, you will run an hour. And then the goal might be to run a marathon. Take it in steps, be realistic, but build momentum. And remember, in the end, a goal without a plan is just a dream. So yes, you can have a goal. Tell people about that goal. Tell people what you want to achieve. But it's up to you to take action on it. Set out the steps you need to take and drag yourself out of your bed. Go do it. Make it happen. So I want to give you a challenge, and this is separate from the tools we talked about. Please implement them as you see fit. I want you to look at 3 things you do on a daily basis. Pick one of them and look how you can automate it or make it easier. It could be as simple as setting a predetermined workout time, or making sure your clothes are ready for the next day every day. Make it a habit, build momentum, and it will become second nature to you. Implement this small change and see how it feels, how it helps your clarity or your motivation to work on other things. If it doesn't feel right, pick something else, try again. It is no secret elixir to success. It's a way to help you. It's a step to reaching your goals. And then again, like we talked about, taking a step is always better than not doing anything. So please share your experience and how do you combat procrastination and decision fatigue. Share your best ideas in the comments and please help the others out as well. And I also want to know, how do you combat procrastination and decision fatigue today? Was this helpful? What topics do you want to talk about? Drop it in the comments and we'll see each other soon.